Is it ever okay to use steroids? Is it ever okay to use steroid cream to heal your symptoms? Got a question from somebody who they were doing pretty good and bit of a breakout. Maybe it's a slight. Seem to get a lot of these questions. People doing pretty well, but then they take a dip and all of a sudden they just want to start using stuff, or they kind of freak out. But look, the path to healing isn't linear. The path to healing, your body, you're never going to understand 100% what your skin's going to look like tomorrow. Like you could have exactly the same meal that gave you a flare up last week. You could have that meal again today, and the effect tomorrow might be different. You're not going to understand that. So be consistent. First of all, be consistent with what you're doing, but never be tempted to use some kind of cream or topical ointment that you've gotten out of the habit of using when you have a slight flare up. So the temptation is there, and I remember this myself. The temptation is there. Your skin has kind of cleared up, and you're looking good, and you've got some confidence, and you're happy to talk to people again. You're happy to meet up with old friends again because you don't mind them seeing you like this because you're feeling good, you're feeling confident. But then one day you wake up and maybe you've taken a bit of a dip again. It's like, oh no, like you have that dread. You just have that feeling of dread where you don't want to leave the house. You just want to heal or just do something that's going to make you look presentable again to walk into the office and see your colleagues or see your friends or whatever. And in that moment, you forget what you've learned about steroids. You forget what you've learned about toxic chemicals. And you just think, if I just use a little bit, I've not used any for ages. I'm clean, I'm good, I'm not going to get hooked on them again. Just put a little bit on, take the symptoms away, just a light layer. Take the symptoms away, I go out, and that's it. But let's remind ourselves of how steroids work. Steroids, for example, work by intercepting the signal between your body and your brain, between your skin and your brain. That's how a topical skin steroid works. So if you use cortisone or something, what it's doing is when your brain tells the skin to be inflamed and be itchy and release toxin through the steroid breaks down that communication path. It intercepts that communication path. So that toxin still needs to escape. That process, that natural process still needs to happen. So all the steroid has done is just delayed that from happening. That's all it's done. And to add to that, steroids are like hugely acidic forming, massively acidic forming. Look back again at the food chart, at the acid alkaline balance, acid alkaline forming balance chart. You'll see that medicines, man-made medicines and drugs, they're at the far end of highly acidic. They're like the worst thing that you can consume. And don't forget that disease cannot survive in an alkaline environment. So if you're adding acid, then you're just increasing the environment for disease to be present. So if your aim here is to get rid of a disease, then don't have anything that's acid. Don't avoid at all costs every acid forming substance, and that includes these steroids. So don't be tempted. That's my message really of today. Don't be tempted to suppress the symptom because you're on the healing path and you're doing pretty well, but you've got a slight flare up. You just think, oh, I just want to maintain this good path that I'm on. I'll just use something to get stop. Just stop. Don't use the steroid. Don't use the cream. Just follow the path. Allow the meandering healing path to take you slowly but surely to a disease-free state. That's how your skin is going to look the best long term anyways, because every time you use these substances, they damage the outer epidermis of your skin.